Hi, everyone. Welcome into Primetime TV Show. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is my co-host, Mr. Dennis Kelly. Hello and welcome back.
Hello, it's good to be back.
I know we gave you a couple of days off there, didn't we?
Yeah, I took advantage of it.
I know you did. I know. I'm excited about today's show because this show was honestly divinely guided, truly divinely guided. We have some special guests coming up. And of course, many of you know our whole purpose with Primetime TV Show is to raise the awareness of human synergy, really bring to you things that are going on the planet today where we can all give back in some way, shape, or form. And that's one of the things that my husband and I like to think that our mission is to help people live a faith-based, heart-centered lifestyle. And one of our passions is really the generations to come, our children, our grandchildren, and the like. So we have a special two guests that are coming up. One who is kind of like a blast from the past from myself, Shelley Rush. I used to work with her at the Home Shopping Network, and she has her own professional image company, making us all look absolutely fabulous, right? And she's bringing a very special guest, Dr. Sheila Capella. I'm very excited about that, and I gave you a little bit of a rundown, but these two have such a passion for what they're doing in the community, and we'll be telling you a little bit more about that. Now that I feel like I'm doing all the talking, which is usually the case, right?
It's all right. Go right ahead. I'm enjoying listening.
I know, he just goes along with the program, right? But you and I were talking before the show on some of the things that we can do and suggest and help our generations and what's happening today and how we can give back to the kids. And being that my husband is five-time world martial arts champion and makes no bones about it and could still get back in the ring today, there was a lot that you had to learn about yourself as a young boy growing up after actually going through quite a bit of trauma, right?
Yeah, I lived a life of anger, resentment, and jealousy, and all those negative emotions. And a lot of it was to do with the environment that I was under. Had come from a family, or came from a family of really a lot of upsets. My mother was divorced twice to my same father, and he turned out to be an alcoholic. And it was, you know, I used every excuse in the world to be angry, to justify my terrible attitude, or which helped my aptitude. It didn't help my aptitude any. So I decided as time went on that I didn't like who I was, and then I got into the martial arts, and that was quite an experience because it really helped me appreciate what you can really be inside of all of us is a world champion. And I didn't realize that myself, that inside even me, with all my mixed emotions and challenges as a child, that inside of me was a world champion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you know, that's something that we're really going around town helping actually people understand that there truly is a champion inside of us. But it also takes fellowship, it takes people, it takes faith, it takes God to really bring it all together, and really a consciousness so that you can really believe that in yourself. And I too, you know, I grew up, my dad wasn't always in favor of my B grades or my B plus grades. Even when I received A's and A pluses, it was never good enough. So I thought, well, why am I trying so hard? And you know what? As time went on, I too had to find my own place and discover, yeah, I don't know if there's a world-class champion in the martial arts inside me, but I know that I've discovered a lot of myself by keeping my faith and never giving up. And that's something that we do on a regular basis, is to actually teach people through our seminars, our workshops, that once you center and live from the heart, all those decisions come because God is in the heart.
Well, the problem is that most kids don't have a role model. At school, it's cool to be bad. At home, they don't, in most cases, they don't get the discipline they needed or the love they needed. It's that balance. It's that hard, we call it tough love. Mm-hmm. You have to really have that, especially with the environmental situation with the kids. Like I mentioned, being cool to be at school, it's being cool to be bad. And so I recommend to all parents, if their child is willing, not to force them into it, to take them and enroll them in a martial arts school. There they get the discipline, they get the respect. There it's cool to be good. It's not cool to be bad.
And it's cool to be respectful, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know I taught for about 2 years there part-time. I taught a group of young kids, 4 to 6, called them my Tiger Kids. And it was amazing, the transformation coming over these kids. The parents couldn't believe it. The parents would come to me and say, I can't believe what you're doing with little Johnny. He's saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. He's working better at his school, getting better grades. And I just can't believe, how are you doing that? So what I tell as parents is we give them that balance. We give them the respect, the love. And it helps. The movies help a little bit because the heroes now, back when I was a kid, the heroes were the cowboys and Indians. and then it went through the soldiers. And then, of course, the heroes now are the martial artists like Chuck Norris and Van Damme and all those great actors that are martial artists that really are good for the art. But not because I'm a martial artist, but because I've seen what can happen with the positiveness of these young kids. For example, when the parents would have some problems with their child that was taking the martial arts, the ones that I was teaching, they would come up and say, can you do anything with Johnny? Johnny's not getting good grades lately. So I'd call Johnny in the office and say, Johnny, you want to get your next belt? If you're going to get your next belt, you're going to have to improve your grades. Otherwise, I can't give you your next belt. Mm-hmm. And you know that it was amazing how these kids would transform and do whatever they needed to do and improve their grades. And it wasn't always, but 90% of the time.
So would you say that it was that discipline for something that they were setting a goal for themselves to really latch onto, and that's really gave them their drive?
Discipline leads to respect.
Ah.
And that's the key, the respect, because they'd walk in and bow and say, good afternoon, Master Kelly, because my afternoon class was 4 to 6. They would bow and say, good afternoon, Master Kelly. If they walked in without saying that, I would call it to their attention in a nice way. Oh, excuse me, and they would do it. It was so wonderful, so cute. And they were so susceptible to really thinking positive. They were so susceptible to being a good kid and pleasing their parents and so on. Because in most cases, the parents both have, husband and wife have a job nowadays. They don't have the time to spend with the child. So I think that the martial arts is definitely part of the answer. I mean, it's not the ultimate answer, but it is close to the ultimate
But that's
answer.
your input. And there's still, like I say, there's just so many of us, I call us light workers out there, trying to make that difference in the area, shining the light on where we really need to focus on. I mean, you can turn on the news and it can depress you for days, if not weeks and months. And rather than actually look at these kids that need help and not do anything, by being more proactive and raising the awareness and the possibilities and really giving them the hope. You know, if you can start with hope, the rest comes. As they say, build it and they will come. I mean, really, it's so true. And that's what our guests are going to be talking about coming up, and I'm so passionate about it. I've seen many, many families go through their ups and downs, and with the economy and with the this and that going on. We talked about the kids back in our day. We were latchkey kids. We were called latchkey kids, where we'd come home, mom and dad were both working, and that's where we could, if we choose to, get ourselves into trouble.
I recommend to all parents, get your kids to enjoy reading. Have them, if you can, read a book a week, because the key thing that I found out in life, that leaders, most cases, are readers. If you're not a reader, chances of being a leader are very slim.
Oh, very good.
I dropped out of high school in my junior year to provide for a family. And I ended up making more money than my uncle did as a professor of a college, because of the fact that I read every single day a book. I mean, every single week, at least one book, all on positive thinking. It's the type of books you read, on human engineering, everything that I could possibly digest, because the fact is that I didn't have the educational diploma. But as a result, when somebody asked me, said, don't you regret going to college? I said, well, somebody had to quit school to provide jobs for college graduates, because most of the people who worked for me were college graduates. And that reading is so important in picking the right types of books to read. Because most successful people I know have been readers. They have written autobiographies of their life. And that's another good thing, is reading books on the autobiography of the lives of very successful people. Because they all really basically, failures have 10,000 different ways of failing. But in success, there's just a few principles of success, and all you need is those few principles. It's not a whole wide range of principles. It's several principles, like code of ethics and empathy balance and ego balance and things like that. You know, so it's the balance of having the ego drive and empathy balance that we speak about so much. Ego drive, having the insatiable desire to win. Empathy balance, to know when to stop, when to slow down, when to be nice, and when to be firm.
But you know what? It's not that easy to achieve that. I mean, there's adults living today that still don't have that balance. And why is that? Is it because we just lost our way along the way? Or maybe we're just now trying to get that personal growth and development later on in life? I mean, sometimes that happens, right?
Well, the problem is kids don't have a role model, because it's hard for the parents to be a role model. And when you really think about it, 27%, there's one company that did tremendous research on it, spent millions. They found out that 27% of the population are negators. They walk around with their umbilical cord ready to zap you. They're negative about everything. They can't be happy unless the toast is burned, unless they can kick the dog or whatever. And in other words, they're the ones that walk around with a little pin ready to bust your balloon. Then 60% of the population are waiters. In other words, they want everybody to bring things to them. They want success to come. They can't wait. They can't. In other words, they're waiting for success to be given them. And they can't wait for 5 o'clock so they can take off from work. They can't wait for a lunch break. So the waiters make up 60% of the population. Then you got 10% of the population are called achievers. Achievers are the ones, they achieve a lot, but they do it at a great expense. And when they come to the wall, they'll bust their head through the wall to get through the wall.
Rather than going through the door.
And they're the ones that give other people ulcers. They end up sick. They end up dying young. And they end up really having a lot of physical problems. Then there's the 3% of the population. Think about this. Only 3% of the population are dreamers or writers. They're the ones that I call them the superhumans. And anybody can be that in that category. All you have to do is really realize that we have to really take time to plan our life. Write down, take notes, read books. That's the key. Every time you read a book, you have another expert coming into your life to help you.
Well, I'm really excited about Dr. Sheila, who's going to be joining us, and Shelley Rush. These gals have an unwavering passion for giving back for these generations, for families, to pull them together, to be proactive in engaging with one another, and to really give them that hope. I'm saying that hope is everything, because if you have just this little light flickering of hope, all the rest comes. And to let these families know that they really are loved. I've watched more documentaries on the television as of late on these children that I'm so removed from, because I was home, I was there for my kids, still am and everything, but not all families have that luxury. And like I said before, in the volatile times that we have, and you know, both people working in the family, the kids are coming home, and if they're not engaged in activities, and that is when sometimes they can just kind of, you know, go down the wrong path. So Dr. Sheila and Shelley have this magnificent idea. They're going to be sharing. I'm not going to burst their bubble. I'm going to have them come out and talk about their dream in giving hope, love, and faith. I'm very excited about that. So we're going to talk a little bit more on the other side of the break. So stay right where you are, and we'll be back with more great little tidbits.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B.
Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Walk through life. Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day. And everything's going your way. And you wanna make it last forever. We'll keep it together, 'cause it keeps getting better. Whoa, whoa.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. We are your hosts, Barbara Marville Kelly and my husband, Dennis Kelly. I always love hosting with my husband because of all the years that we've been together, which is like 20 years, you can say the same thing every time, but I hear something different. And I love that. I really do. We were mentioning during the break we were going to be talking about who played an important, influential part in your life that got you turned around after a lot of negative thinking, right?
Absolutely. Well, you know, having somebody that can give you a little spark and light a fire into you is so important. And we were just, as we were talking earlier, my first person that influenced me really was from a negative standpoint. My stepfather would always call me a bum. He was jealous of my mother and myself. And the closeness that we had, he was jealous. So he found reasons to catch me doing things wrong. And then my coach in high school laughed at me. I was one of the worst athletes in the history of Grafton High School, and I'm sure he had reason to laugh at me. But to hear him talk about one time I was in the locker room, he didn't know I was in there, and I heard him telling the other athletes I was the worst athlete he's ever seen. He had to play me because there wasn't many kids out for sports because we were in a small school in a small town called Grafton, Wisconsin. So as a result, I had this bad paradigm with my stepfather on one side and my coach on the other. And then years later, when in my late teens, early 20s, my girlfriend broke up with me because I wouldn't dance. So I went into a dance school because I had this negative image of myself and I wanted to do something. And out of jealousy, I went to a dance school, ballroom dance studio in Fort Myers, Florida. And the woman at the dance studio, she played a very important part in my life because when I walked in there, I said, "Do you think you can teach me to dance?" Because my girlfriend left with a ballroom dance teacher, left me for a ballroom dance teacher. "Can you teach me how to dance?" She said, "If you can walk through the doors, I can teach you how to dance." Well, what was so amazing is she maybe didn't believe that, That didn't matter. I wanted to believe it. So I believed that I could. And as a result, I spent a lot of time practicing. I ended up being a world champion, Pro-Am champion in the tango and the bolero. So it goes to show somebody that could never dance, thought they never could dance, to be a world champion in a matter of a couple of years, because it was a positive, it was actually a negative positive. I wanted to prove the voice of my stepfather wrong and the voice of my coach wrong. So then my dance teacher was really the first mentor that I ever had. Then in the martial arts school, when I joined the martial arts, my master instructor, Master Su Wong Lee, he told me inside of all of us, convinced me that it's a world champion. So naturally, a couple of years later, I ended up being a world champion in the martial arts. But I could have went and ended up on the street as a handicapped person from a standpoint of finances, handicapped person as far as success. I could have ended up on the street homeless.
So basically, it took one person to start with.
To start it.
To believe in you.
That's right.
To believe in you and to really drill that into you that you matter, that it's important for you to understand that. And so you took that and developed the negative that it came from into a
Right.
positive.
Right.
And then you had the validation from your martial artist master that told you inside everyone is a champion.
And he told me, he says, you too can be a world champion.
See?
And even if he didn't mean it, the point of it is I wanted to believe it, so I
Right.
believe it. So
Right.
it doesn't matter.
So you changed your belief system at a young age.
Absolutely, and it changed my life dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's so important for us to be careful what we say to young people, to encourage them, to look for them doing something right instead
Mm.
of looking for them doing something wrong, and giving them love and caring. And even if you're a stranger to a person, just something positive. This like I see something inside you where you have something very special. Just something like that can make a major difference. The difference that first person in my life, my dance instructor, made with my life, making me or encouraged me to believe in myself, changed my whole life dramatically. She ended up working for me years later.
No kidding.
Yeah, she ended up working for me years later.
The same woman that, oh my goodness, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
she was
wild.
quite a remarkable person.
And so just from that one, I guess we all have those people that kind of like tap us on the shoulder, and some will, make a difference. And when they do, you want to give back and keep giving back and sharing these stories. And that's what makes us who we are today, is what we've been through, the ups and downs, and how we've come out ahead. And really and truly, I believe, my husband, that there is a champion inside all of us. We were born with gifts. We were born into greatness. And I tell you, to take that greatness through, but sometimes we have a few little bumps on the road. And when we do, we just pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, dust ourselves off, and just keep on trucking, right?
Absolutely. Well, even before we were born, we were the fastest swimmer.
Oh, I love this story.
We're the fastest swimmer. So think about it. We were a champion of all the other little swimmers that were trying to get to the princess. We were the fastest one. We were a champion before we even came out as a human being.
Exactly.
Starting as the little seed.
And so that's why we love doing the Primetime TV show. Actually, when we decided to call it Primetime, it was kind of to amuse ourselves, but also to let you know what we're doing in our prime time, because we do give every minute of our life prime time. If we're breathing, if we're on this side of the dirt, we're really, really grateful. And that's why we want to give back to you in utilizing this show to raise the awareness on how we can all make a better world, create a completely different planet, coming from my favorite four-letter word, which is love. And when you do anything and everything from love, it makes a whole difference. It seems like when we're doing things more on a selfish level, it doesn't come out that way. In fact, when my husband and I are doing different projects, or we're working on different seminars and workshops, it's always coming from love, because that's what we coach on, is a heart-centered life, because that's where love is born and lives. And when you live from love, it's just a whole new different world.
Well, words are so powerful. We have to be so careful about that. But the best thing beside words, best gift you can give your loved ones, that you can give your children, to give your friends, is to be a good example. That's the best gift you can give anybody. Walk your talk. And the sad part about this country, our moral system is deteriorating. Our morals and getting back to the spiritual belief in ourselves as a supreme being, and realizing that life is so beautiful if you just approach it from that angle.
Absolutely, and we do try to walk our talk on a regular basis, and we really do love giving back, and that's why I love doing this show, because it's our form of that and raising the awareness. We have many viewers. We've been at this now for almost a couple of years. It seems like we just started it, but we have different guests on, we have different special editions, and we mix it up every once in a while. But today is the first day of many coming in the future where we're taking a segment on our shows when our hearts tell us, and my heart was the one that was really tugging at those emotional heartstrings when I read this little paragraph on Facebook with Shelley Rush, and she was talking about a mission, ministry that she's working on with Dr. Sheila. And I thought, you know what? I just have to have them on our show. They have an event coming up next week. And so that's why I wanted to really work on bringing them out to share what their mission is, what their needs are, promote to the event if you'd like to donate. They're looking for a facility, and it's amazing how things are falling into place, being led from the right source, that supreme being. And I am just going to be so thrilled to bring them out here in a little bit and talk about that. Because you know what? When you have a whole lot of people working towards the same goal, you're going to get a whole lot of support. And then, of course, the man upstairs certainly doesn't hurt keeping his eye on you, right?
Yeah, well, what's so sad is most people are afraid to really try something. They're afraid to get out from under their paradigm, their certain beliefs. In other words, they're wanting to tiptoe safely to make it through to death. Theodore Roosevelt had a great saying. He said, "Far greater is it to do mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to take rank with those poor spirits and know not victory or defeat." They want to live on the 50-yard line, afraid to go for the goal because they might miss. They're afraid to go backwards because they might lose. Because people are they're in this little cocoon-like, and they're afraid to come out like a beautiful butterfly.
And it's all in the attitude and, the way perception. I mean, perception is everything. And you talk about that all the time in your seminars, and how we perceive different people, different circumstances, different life events, different life experiences, and all that.
Well, that's one of the best explanations of stress is stress is our perception of life's events do not meet up with our expectations, and we fail to manage the results. It's as simple as that. That's what stress is. It's internal, it's not external.
Exactly. But when you're living a heart-centered life, I know since we've been doing that for many years, it makes a big difference in the outcome on what is happening in your life experience. And now it just comes naturally. Whenever I have to make a decision, I go to my heart, I do my prayers, I do my meditation, and it comes out a whole lot faster than it used to like 30, 40 years ago when when I was growing up as a teenager trying to figure out, who am I? Is my makeup right? Is my hair right? And all that kind of crazy stuff. It's not all about that. It's about what's inside here, and it's about what we can give back, how we can make a difference. And as you've seen it all over, that saying that is, be the change that you want to see in the world. And that's what we're working on. So I am excited. You're going to be taking a little break, right? While the girls come out, and we're going to be talking about this event coming up next week, and I know that they will make a difference in the lives of many, in the youth and families and kids at risk, and I've learned a lot already from them. So we're going to take a brief little time out, and when we come back, you will be meeting my two special guests.
Beltran Dental Surgery is dedicated to providing the highest quality dental surgery.
I graduated from USF, went to Harvard Dental School, obtained a medical degree from Texas, and completed 5 years of oral surgery training. At Beltran Dental Surgery, we offer cutting-edge surgical techniques and treatments to the Tampa Bay area. Providing IV sedation allows my patients to have a pain-free and comfortable surgical experience.
From wisdom teeth removal to implants or creating a whole new smile. Call now or visit our website to learn more about our procedures.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Beltran Dental Surgery is dedicated to providing the highest quality dental surgery.
I graduated from USF, went to Harvard Dental School, obtained a medical degree from Texas, and completed 5 years of oral surgery training. At Beltran Dental Surgery, we offer cutting-edge surgical techniques and treatments to the Tampa Bay area. Providing IV sedation allows my patients to have a pain-free and comfortable surgical experience.
From wisdom teeth removal to implants or creating a whole new smile, call now or visit our website to learn more about our procedures.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Beltran Dental Surgery is dedicated to providing the highest quality dental surgery.
I graduated from USF, went to Harvard Dental School, obtained a medical degree from Texas, and completed 5 years of oral surgery training. At Beltran Dental Surgery, we offer cutting-edge surgical techniques and treatments to the Tampa Bay area. Providing IV sedation allows my patients to have a pain-free and comfortable surgical experience.
From wisdom teeth removal to implants or creating a whole new smile, call now or visit our website to learn more about our procedures.
Ever need a doctor after hours? Well, searching won't help. But what do? You could go to the urgent care or ER, but if only there was a better way. Introducing the MNO Plus Card. No waiting rooms, no copay, no consultation fee, giving you 24/7 access to a doctor by phone or online. It's easy to get started with affordable plans starting at $15 a month for a family of 5. For more information, visit mnoplus.com today.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly, and I'm just practicing my guest's name, who happens to be Dr. Sheila Capallo. Did I say it right?
You said it perfect.
Okay, very good. And Shelley Rush, it's such a great honor to have you. How long has it been since we've seen each other?
I'm thinking 9, 10 years.
It has to be, because I've been gone from HSN for 9 years, and Shelley has her own professional image and doing makeup, and of course, a perfect walking example of that. And these gals were on Facebook talking about a mission that they have that they're very passionate about. And I just reached out to Shelley because it's a passion that I have, to give back with families, children, the youth, especially the upcoming generations. And Dr. Sheila, I mean, amazing credentials that we have here you've got your doctorate in Christian psychology, Christian counseling, 2011 from Cornerstone Christian University and Seminary in Orlando, right here in Florida. And what you have been doing here is really utilizing not only your passion, but your background. This is so phenomenal what you two have brought together, because it's a passion, and that's what I want to ask Shelley to share with us. How did you guys come together on this whole ministry, on Hope for the Children ministry? I mean, this is amazing.
I mean, we belong to a big church, and within the church you have what they call life groups, which are Sunday schools. And she was in my Sunday school class, or life group class, and I remember the one day that she made the announcement that, please pray for me that I just quit my job on Friday, because God told me I wanted to do a ministry for the youth and families. And I was just watching that, and something came over me because I have such a passion with my kids right now. They're 11 and 13, and I've been so emotional. I've always, you know, since we've gotten pretty close, I've been telling her I'm so overwhelmed, and I get that overwhelming feeling that day that, oh my gosh, I think I'm supposed to help her or be there with her or do anything, you know, to help her get this going. But we sat across the room from each other for the longest time, and it just, as fate, and then she started doing this, like the festival that you had. She had the fall festival, and my husband went over there and he goes, and he had that overwhelming feeling too. I want to come over and I want to help. What can we do to help? And from that moment on, it was like fate. God brought us together for a special thing.
So you just had that heart feeling, that aha moment.
You know, I think I almost got teary-eyed. You know when you get like that, you just well up in tears?
Yes.
And I can feel it now. It was like, you know, it just, because I have so much passion. I'm like, I need to feel like my job for the last 20 years have been how to make people feel good and look good. From all realms, men, female, on television and everything. I mean that, just doing hair and makeup for people makes them feel good. But I'm like, I know I have another purpose. And with my girls growing up now and teaching them how just to take care of yourself and feel confident and just watching them go through certain phases, I don't know, I just got that feeling, and it's
widespread. And how old are your girls?
11 and 13.
11 and 13. Okay,
Yes.
so this is what we're talking about, the youth, and you really want to get a hold on this and know that you're really helping your children. I know we are going to have a break coming up here in a few minutes, and I want to really touch on this with Dr. Sheila, because this Hope for the Children Ministries is your passion too, and I can see it in your eyes all the way right down to your soul. Okay, so you just woke up one day, quit your job.
Yeah.
Kind of like?
This is something that's been on my heart for over 10 years. And in the last 4 or 5 years, there have been events that have led up to, it's time to go, it's time to go, it's time to go. And in the beginning of this year, some events occurred, and the good Lord said, this is the time. I need you to do this now. And so I called my husband and said, guess what? I just resigned from my job, and I'm going to do this ministry. And he said, well, it's about time.
Oh, see?
So, and then, you know, I brought it to Sunday's, the Bible Life Group, and I stood up and I said, all right, guys, after 40 years of working and having this on my heart for the past 10 years, I resigned Friday from my position, so pray for me because God asked me to open this ministry. And I'm here to tell you that when I surrendered it all to Him, it has just exploded. And we'll talk more about what's going on, but this is not something that I just thought about lightly. This is a passion of mine, working with these kids for the past 20 years and these families. There's just such a need out there. And I kept trying to get it done, and the timing just wasn't there. And finally one day God just said, that's it. You know, it's getting critical, and I've given you the skills. You've had 20 years of training. You're a behaviorist psychologist. I've given you all the training you need. Let's go. And I stepped out on faith, and I'm here to tell you that He does take care of it, because it is exploding in front of my eyes, and it's so awesome. And we're going to touch so many families and be able to help so many youth, and the programs that we're going to have in place for these kids and these families. And I've worked with adult learners that have had some struggles, and they've actually, as I was telling Shelley, that they want to come and volunteer because I've touched their life. They want to give back.
And that's how it happens. We touch each other's lives, and you touched my heart that day almost to the point of tears too, because I was telling you, and I talked to you, we have another gal, one of our former show hosts is going to be starting a show right here in January in giving back for teenagers and boys mainly. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, really? Thank you. You're bringing all this together, and we get to have a voice right here at Tampa Bay Multimedia to really raise that awareness for you. The thing is, making a decision like that it is stepping out on faith.
Yes.
It is. It truly is, because that's quite a big thing to do. And how long were you at your job?
At that present job, I had been teaching pharmacology for over 6 years. I was the program director, and I was doing my dissertation at the time. However, my students knew my passion because I was very verbal about it. And through the process of going with them, they became involved, so to speak, by saying, Dr. C, this is something you're so passionate. When I made the decision, although a lot of them were upset because I was no longer there, they rallied around.
Right.
And we saw that at the Fall Festival. When I reached out and said I need volunteers, we had 52 volunteers. And some were from our life group, and a lot of them were my previous students, and it's just been amazing how much support we've had.
That is truly amazing, and this is a perfect example of following your heart, following your faith, and just turning it over. We were talking about that just before with my husband, and teaching people to live a heart-centered life, because that's when your decisions come and they're like 100% right on. So we're going to hold a couple of thoughts. When we come back, we're going to really get into the nitty-gritty on what we need to help Dr. Sheila and Shelley fulfill their passion that just might become your passion as well. We'll be right back after this.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
Providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
Coming here, you're not just like an ordinary patient. You're actually like treated like a family member, and like you're treated like he actually gets to know you and makes you smile.
Welcome to New Tampa Pediatric Dental, and we are the Bees!
Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Through life, every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day, and everything's going your way. We'll keep it together, 'cause it keeps getting better. Whoa,
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Dr. Sheila and Shelley Rush talking about the Hope for Children ministry. And I was just reading here that this ministry will provide a safe place for children and youth after school and summer programs free of cost?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about this.
Well, over the years, as I've watched these families go through their struggles, one of the things that we have seen is that there's plenty of programs out there for young children, up to age 5th grade. There's nothing out there from 6th grade and up. And we have such a critical time from 3 o'clock to 6:30, 7 o'clock at night for our youth. And so when this came about and God put this on my heart, I said, we need to have a place where our young people can go that doesn't cost these families any money, that is a place for them to be structured. It's a faith-based organization, but it's not a playground. It's going to be a place for them to come and learn. There's activities, there's tutoring, there'll be educational programs. There's also going to be workshops for the families, for the parenting workshops. There'll be guest speakers. We have just a numerous array of structured activities for the kids. I have mentorship programs coming on. I have a lot of local businesses that want to do some shadowing programs for these kids. So everybody has programs, but they all cost money. And so my heart always said, what about the little guy or the young lady that wants to be a part of that, but their families can't afford it? They want them to be afforded, but they can't afford it. And so this is such a passion for me. I want to be able to give them a place. And as many people who know me, I'm very education driven. So I don't want this to be a place for them where they can just come and hang out. This will be a learning environment.
Absolutely.
So they will learn a skill while they're there, whether it be cooking or mechanics or whatever, and education, plus getting the background of the faith-based. And I use music and animal behavior therapy a lot. So there'll be a lot of music that they'll be learning and enjoying, and we have some great people coming on board that want to help us out. So this is a great opportunity for families that are in need, that need a place for their young people to go after school. Summer's going to be awesome. We have some great programs lined up for kids. And again, it's free of cost.
See, that really gets anybody's attention. And I'll be honest, I was a single mom at one time, and I was there. I pulled myself out. But boy, I had some scars after that. I really did. I would have loved to have had something like this. And what you're doing it's exciting. And for the two of you to come together like this, I could see you welling up over there, girlfriend. So how are your girls going to get involved? And they're going to obviously see how, and you're setting an example for them.
Well, being around my girls on a day-to-day, it's just they're my girls. But they grew up with a disabled father. So they grew up with compassion. And over the summer, they went to an MS camp. And what they came back with, as far as learning coping skills and how to help if daddy's frustrated, or how do I help if I get frustrated. And that was so inspiring to me, because kids these days don't know how to cope. And for them to just go to that camp and learn, okay, if you're having a bad day, or if things are frustrating or you can't communicate correctly, write down on these index cards of 10 things that you think might help. And they swapped them out with their friends. And when they came back, they were so inspired. So when I saw that, it was a 3-day camp, and how great it was for them, and how teamwork with knowing how dealing with a disability in the family, they automatically go to the car, they automatically get the scooter out. And they're 9, 10, 11 years old at this time, and they just knew. And my friends were like, I want to be able to teach, respect and coping skills and stuff, because kids don't communicate. And that was one of the things with the big church, is yes, when you go to church, you want to go in, you want it to be meaningful. When you go into big places like that, it just seems very cold. There's no community or anything. And that was so good about being in a life group, because you're in a big church, but when you go into the life group, the community is what helps each other. We're there. I mean, the best time for us is sitting there socializing and helping, and that, to me, is what the kids need.
Absolutely.
And they need a sense of community. It's not just going somewhere for an hour working on homework. They need to communicate, and then that age group communicates in a way different way than the adults. And with the knowledge that Sheila has, and the passion that is there and that I have. It's just like, I've seen it, I witnessed it, and just to get inspired to help these kids get inspired about within themselves, because there's so much pressures out there with homework and the grades, and you know, they're so wanting to achieve so much at such a young age that they're burned out by the time they get 16 years old.
Absolutely.
And they're lost at that point, because I feel like I've done everything and I don't know what my passion is, because I was driven to do this, this, and this. So teach them how to focus and relax a little and channel in on what their passions are, and not have to, well, because that's what the whole community is doing, I have to do this, this, and this, and this, and stress myself out. So,
and then it takes years for them to, okay, they get graduated from high school, and okay, so now what do I do? Who am I?
Right.
And so what I'm gleaning from this is that you're getting a jump start on these families and allowing them to grow at a younger age, as opposed to going through all that nonsense and then later on ending up on the streets or ending up just in a bad way in many ways.
What I've seen over the years is what Shelley and I were just talking about, and you just stated, is a lot of these young people, they get lost. You know, all the way up to 5th or 6th grade, they're soaring. Their parents have them in every activity. They're doing everything. They hit those teenage years, and everything hits them.
All at once. All at once.
And they don't know how to handle it. And the coping skills that they have today, I'll just say it, they're horrible. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to have relationships. And the families are struggling because you got a lot of single parents running around out there. The kids are running after school. Mom's working 10 hours a day or 14 hours, or dad, or both, whatever the situation is. And so these kids are lost. And having this program, the reason it hits so hard is because I've seen so much. And just at the festival alone, I had 21 families come to me and say, please, I really need something like this. I can't wait to have some place to take my child.
You have been right in the thick of this, and no wonder you have this on your heart. We are really coming down to the close of our show. I want to make sure that we mention your fundraiser that you have coming up next week on the 18th, correct?
Yes.
And it's from 6:30
to 8 p.m.
8 p.m. And where is it?
It's at the Hampton Inn in Oldsmar on Tampa Road. And they can either go to the Facebook page, your site, or to the website itself, and it will have all the information. They don't need an invitation, just that we're personally inviting you as we speak.
Perfect. And they can make donations if you want to get involved in any way, shape, or form. If you know families, of course, these gals, you can get a hold of them. I believe we've had the graphics up in our lower thirds to get in contact with you. We're all on Facebook, so you can also Facebook us, and just let us know if you want to participate, if you want to volunteer, if you want to give some of this. We might take it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And help us find a center for these guys, because to be able to have your children, your grandchildren, maybe a friend, maybe a neighbor that's going through some rough times, there is hope out there.
Yes.
There is love, there is faith, and there is God. And I make no bones about saying that, because that's how I've been led in my life. And I just have to thank you guys for coming on the show. And
Thank you for having us.
I definitely want to have you back again.
We'd love it. We'd love it.
And just feel free to, tomorrow you'll be able to see the show and share it, because the show will be archived. And everybody can get a hold of you between now and next week and thereafter. And we'll watch the miracles fly, right?
I'm excited. It's taken off.
I know. Congratulations. God bless you too, really. And thanks for joining us today on Primetime TV Show. I'll be back tomorrow for Biz Mix TV, and then Wednesday, My Chamber TV. Thanks for joining us again. Have a beautiful, blessed week.